St. Georgenbrau Pilsener.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. This one is yet another one from the St. Georgenbrau Brewery, which are based in the region of Franconia in Bavaria in Germany. Now, I've done a couple of their beers on the channel, and if you haven't seen these videos before and you're looking at this for the first time, you'll know that this brewery are extra special. They are one of the oldest breweries in Franconia, one of the oldest family-owned breweries in Franconia. And their Helles, in my opinion, is one of the best in the world. I don't think there's anything that comes close apart from Augustina. It is absolutely outstanding. Their other beers are good as well, but sadly, they just don't live up to that outstanding label that I've given to the Helles. Now, don't get me wrong, they're still good, and I tried their land beer yesterday and it was absolutely superb. The Keller beer is amazing as well. That really is a good Keller beer, up there with the best of them. When I say the best, I'm talking about Hacker-Shaw, who in my opinion do the best Keller beer in Germany. Anyway, this brewery been going since 1624, and they are family owned, and they are, as I say, they are a very traditional brewery. They use a lot of the local ingredients from around, there's Percy down there, I don't know what he's doing, from around the local area. They're based in a place called Buttenheim, which is in the Bamberg region of Germany. A tiny little village. Blink and you'll miss it, that's how small it is. But it does produce some fine beer. I'd love to get over there and try some beer in their beer Keller, because I imagine their beer fresh tastes absolutely heavenly. Now, St. Georgenbrau, the name comes from St. George's beer, or St. George's brewery, and there's a picture of St. George on the front of there. Now, that is in keeping with the tradition of Bavarian breweries. They like to have some nice artwork on their labels, and this of course is no exception, and it really does go to show you how seriously beer is taken in Bavaria. I've been there, and it's out of this world. I mean, it really is. If you're a beer aficionado, or you just like good beer, you won't want to drink anything else, in my opinion. And my nephew, he used to drink some fucking terrible stuff, a lot of the macro brewed stuff. He'd go out and he'd be drinking 7 or 8 fucking Kronenbergs every night, thinking it was great stuff, until I've got him onto the German stuff. And now he keeps sending me photos of him, what he's bought lately in and around on his travels. And yeah, he's another convert to how good German beer is, which I hope a lot of you on this, who are viewing this channel, that was Dora, don't know what she's barking at, barks at anything. I'll have to go down there and sort her out in a bit, because she's a Jack Russell, and she just gets out of her little pram. But yeah, he's a convert to the German beer, and he won't drink anything else now. So there you go. Let me just sort that dog out. And we're back in the room. It's amazing what a water pistol can do for a dog's discipline. Where was I? Yeah, as I say, these are a great brewery. I've tried their Helles, and you really have to look at that review on how good that beer is. And you know, if you're in any doubt about it, I would urge you to try some. Get it online. A lot of the online beer retailers are doing that now. And it was given to me by a friend who just had some spare beers and gave it to me, and I wouldn't have discovered it as soon as I had if it wasn't given to me. So thanks for that, Mark. If you're watching, he's off the beer now, so maybe he isn't watching. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Let's get on to the beer. .500ml bottle, 4.9%. It is a Pilsner, so I'm expecting some nice, big, German hop bitterness from the noble hops that are in here. Now there's two types of hops that have gone into this, and they are Hallertau Tradition and Spalter Select. Now I did go over these in the land beer, but I didn't really go in depth, so I'm going to go a little bit in depth into what them two hop varieties are. They're interesting because they were developed in the Hull region of Germany, and they were developed in 1993, and they were variations on the original noble hops. So for example, Hallertau Tradition is basically a variation of the Mittelfrüh hop, and it was developed like the Spalter Select to be a little bit more robust against diseases such as wilt and mildew, that kind of thing. So that's where these two hops have derived from. So they technically aren't a noble hop, but they're derived from noble hops. Now the Hallertau Tradition its characteristics contain citrus, lime, and there's also grassy and herbal notes as well. Very, very in keeping with what German Helles flavours are. In fact, if you wanted a flavour profile of German Helles, and you wanted to describe what the taste was like, you'd say, well, there was obviously the bready malt that goes in there, but there's also citrus notes. There is lime. I class that as lemon, but it's a sort of a mishmash between the two. Citrus in there is lemon and lime, I would say. The grass, the sweet grass honey style, is a combination of the hops and probably a little bit coming from the yeast as well. But there's also herbal notes like thyme, that kind of thing that you get in there. The Spalter Select, again, was developed to be robust against diseases, and its characteristics are pretty similar, but it does contain some spice, such as if you've ever had wormwood before, ever tasted wormwood. I had a wormwood infused Slovenian liqueur once. Jesus Christ, I was all over the place on that stuff. It was effing lethal, and I'm sure it was flammable. I smelt it, and if I'd been in a petrol station, I would have said it was just a different variety of petrol, but it was fucking hellish. The hangover, Jesus. Anyway, this Spalter Select, it does contain wormwood, spicy wormwood, apple notes. Again, you've got the thyme going on, as in the herbal notes, and then you've got bitter citrus, again, lemon, lime, that kind of thing. So there you go. Now this does contain Franconian malt, and that's in keeping with the Pilsner style malt. And the water, of course, does come from their local spring in the Buttenheim region of Germany. So all in all, it's looking good on paper. Let's get it out and let's see what's going on. Right, weather is quite warm today, and this room is quite warm, so I want to get this drunk before my cold Pilsner goes on. Come on, autofocus. Sort your effing life out. I do like that cap. That's a depiction of St George and the Dragon on there. Very nice indeed. Just in case you were in any doubt whatsoever, that is a genuine Franconian or Bavarian product. And there is its geographical protected status that is on there. Right, into ye oldie glass. Drinking it out of a Schneider Weiss glass. This is a Pilsner style glass. Wow, that's very light for a Pilsner. Slight haze on it as well. Fair amount of carbonation. The aroma, whoa, I'm getting that already. Oh, that's big. Now, I tried the Weihenstephaner Helles yesterday. Not the original Helles, their other Helles, and that was really disappointing. There was no aroma on it at all. This is just, this is bursting with aroma. Oh, there's lovely bitter notes as well. There's some slightly roasted malt on that as well, what I perceive to be roasted malt, but there's a lot of spice on this too. Oh, lots of woody spice. Some slight citrus, but this is all about the big spice, which is what I'd expect from a Pilsner. Pilsners characteristically are bitter, and of course Pilsner does originate from the Czech Republic, so they would be packed full of Saaz hops, which is renowned for its spice. That smells really interesting though. It smells like a good German Pilsner should. Anyway, enough about the aroma. Let's get on to the flavour. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. Oh, that's nice. Oh, and the finish on it as well. Oh, that is good. That is very good indeed. The malt on that is quite similar. It's got a quite similar profile to the malt that's on the Helles, and that's what gives the Helles its uniqueness and its real drinkability. This has got that, but there's a ton of other stuff going on as well. I need to take another mouthful to get the rest of that. One sec. Yeah, nice. What you're getting there is quite a big kind of toasted style malty flavour, not the bready type malt that you'd normally associate with some of them Munich Pilsners. This is more of a toasted, if you can imagine white toasted bread, that kind of thing. Slightly burnt white toasted bread. Now I'm going into the slightly pretentious region here, but that's the best way of describing it. Slightly burnt toast, that kind of thing. And there's quite a lot of the herbal notes coming from them two hop varieties on there. Yeah, there's a slight bitterness on the palate, and the general profile is bitter. There's none of that honey sweetness, which is something that I wouldn't expect in a Pilsner. This doesn't really give you that honey yeasty flavour that you get on them good German Helleses. This is a typical Pilsner. However, it does remind me of a typical, it is a typical Bavarian Pilsner. If you compare this to North German Pilsners I find are a hell of a lot bitter. This is bitter, don't get me wrong. I don't know what the IBUs, does it have the IBUs on this? Where is it? No, I don't think it has. Let me quickly look it up, one sec. No, can't find the IBUs on this, but I imagine they are quite high because it is bitter. However, it's not the most bitter German Pilsner I've ever tasted. I think Jever will be taking that crown. That Pilsner is insanely bitter. But let's dive in again. It's quite full-bodied, and there is a lovely dry finish on there, which leaves that burnt toast flavour, but with lots of herbal notes on the top of it. I'm not really getting any, or am I? No, I can't say I am. I'm not really getting any of that lime, lemon profile from them hops. This is all about the malt and the herbal notes and the spicy notes as well. The spicy wormwood notes, I think that's what is in this. Nice, very drinkable, not as abrasive as some of them Czech Pilsners and some of the, when I say abrasive, I mean it hasn't got that bitter profile, so it's got more of a drinkable flavour. And when you try some of them North German Pilsners, a lot of people don't like them. Same for the Czech Pilsners as well. I was having a discussion today online with somebody, and they were talking about how things like Pilsner Urquell and them well-known Czech Pilsners, how they tend to put people off because of the quite strong Saaz hop profile, or Saaz variety hop profile on them. And I kind of see where they're coming from, because I remember when I first tried it, even Budvar, when I first tried that, I thought that was, well, that's really bitter, but it was still drinkable. The Pilsners are just, some of them are just off the scale bitter, but but still nice. Not in the same vein as the American West Coast IPAs, where it's all grapefruit, which is It's really not my thing. This is more of a black pepper spice. But this stuff, I think they've got the balance right between the hop characteristic and the malt profile. It's pretty well balanced. No complaints. Nice finish, very drinkable, very refreshing, and full of flavour. What more do you want in a beer? So, what is the verdict on St. Georgenbrau Pilsner? Yeah, very nice indeed. And I think this is probably one of the best Pilsners I've tasted from Bavaria as it goes. A lot of them other Pilsners, I wouldn't say they scrimp on the hop profile, but it's all about the malt. And Pilsners, yes, they do have some malt character, but you need to get a lot of that hop characteristic coming out as well, and some of them fall short. This doesn't. This has got the perfect balance between the malt and the hops, and it's really good. Is it the best Pilsner from Germany? I don't think so. I've never been absolutely bowled over by a German Pilsner yet, possibly because I haven't had the best German Pilsner yet, but this is a worthy contender. I really do like that. It's a great representation of the German Pilsner style. However, it's typical Bavarian in its characteristic, because if you were to have a North German Pilsner, they tend to go a lot more on the bitterness and less on the malt profile. The Bavarians tend to up the malt profile a little bit, which I have to say I probably prefer. You know, when you can go a little bit overboard with that hop spice, and all of a sudden it doesn't really become enjoyable. Now Jever do it, and I've had Jever in cans and I've had it in bottles. In bottles, it's green bottles, so you can imagine what that's like. The bottle that I had wasn't skunked somehow by some freak of nature, and that was bitter. But I imagine if it did become light struck, that would be just undrinkable. It really would. But this is good. I'm going to give that a solid 9 out of 10 because I really do like that. That's a great Pilsner, and it's typical of this brewery. They do fantastic beer. However, one thing I will say, they get the malt spot on, and the hop profile on a lot of their beers is overshadowed by how good the malt is. But that's a characteristic of the brewery, and the end result, of course, is fantastic beer, and that's what this is. It's a fantastic German Pilsner, and that's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. That's highly recommended if you can get it. I have seen it online before. Now, it's not cheap. I did look it up before I did this video. It's £3.70. Do you want to spend £3.70 on St. Georgenbrau Pilsner? My advice to you would be skip the Pilsner, go for the Helles. You'll be absolutely bowled over. It's one of the best in the world. So there you go. And remember, beer is working class champagne.